Hello, Spartanburg, and welcome to our first ever live video podcast. My name is Santi. I am your host for today. And with me, I have Laura Allen. She is the executive director for the Children's Cancer Partners of the Carolinas. Yes. Laura, it is awesome to have you with us today. Thank you for doing this. Is this your first time?
This is my first time, Santi.
Okay, awesome. Yes. So you want to say more about that?
I do. I was going to say something about Santi because I really know you as Santiago, but now you are Santi, as in our Santa Claus.
Aww.
Because you're doing so much to help bring awareness to Children's Cancer Partners, and really the struggle that children across the Carolinas are going through as they're battling this horrific fight.
And you're here to help them go through that, help them through the journey of when children are diagnosed with cancer. So clearly today, the topic is a little bit of a heavy one. It's not necessarily what we usually discuss when you get coffee with friends, but it's a conversation that we should have, especially having somebody like you guys who are local and who are helping our local children. And it really helped my budget because I didn't have to fly you in from New York. You are right here in Spartanburg, correct?
We are. We were founded here as a project in 1999. And here we are in 2023 helping children across all of North and all of South Carolina. But we are headquartered here. We are based here. We still have 85 children that have been part of our program right here in Spartanburg County. And actually, this weekend we'll be doing some fundraising for the kids through an event called Docs Who Rock.
Okay, all right, we'll get back to that in a second because I'll actually be there too. So I'll bring some coverage of that down the road, and we'll talk about it in just a little bit. But when I say local, South Pine Street local,
yes,
by the rail trail local, by the flock shop. So you guys are truly rooted in our community, and you guys are here to help us out. Now, so your name is the Children's Cancer Partners of the Carolina.
Correct.
Your logo is supporting families through the journey.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about all of that?
Sure. It's an incredible organization that was here before I came, so I can say that. But we are working with over 2,000 children. It'll be 2,100 by the end of this year.
Wow.
Kids who've been diagnosed with cancer. In Spartanburg County, we don't have cancer treatment for children.
Wow.
And across the state, Santi, we could go and get a treatment at a lot of places. But there's only 3 cities that children can get treatment. So we are here for them on their journey. As you think about some of the more rural parts of Spartanburg County, driving to Greenville, driving to MUSC in Charleston, maybe having to fly out of town because that's where the only treatment is. How do families do it? It's really a huge financial burden. And people will say, oh, I don't know children with cancer, or how does this affect me? You know what? You know someone with cancer. And let's just take that someone, your cousin, your friend, your mother, your child, somebody in your family. What would that look like if you were for a child? It's horrific. And a 2-income family usually becomes a 1-income family. And think about what a single parent is having to go through. So that's a little bit.
Life can be hard in and of itself, just keeping up with the bills, with life's uncertainties. And then one day you wake up and you realize that a child of yours, and also emotionally, somebody that you feel like you are here to protect, suddenly has a condition that can feel so much bigger than life. And it can, I imagine, leave them feeling quite powerless and feeling alone. But that's where you guys come in.
Yeah.
So that families who suddenly find themselves thrusted in this reality, this is not something that we wish for ourselves. This is not something that we wish for anyone. But sometimes we wake up to it and we realize, this is my reality now. How do I wrestle with this reality while people are still knocking on the door to get paid? I still have to pay my mortgage payments. I still have to show up to work. But as you mentioned, sometimes you have to be there for the child too. And so your income gets reduced and the emotions are magnified.
And what about the siblings?
Say more about that.
I've talked with adult cancer families who have said that, men and women who were the siblings of a child who had cancer, and they said, we felt so alone because we were off at the cousin's house. We were at friends' houses, the grandparents. They don't have a normal childhood. When we put together our activities for kids, we want them to be able to come, whether it's a holiday gathering or it's been our camp, we want them to come and be kids and do the things that kids are supposed to do.
Sure.
Forget about the poking and the prodding and the chemo and just be kids because that's what they should have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you guys are incredible in that you help support these children and families, but at a truly individual level.
Yes.
And you help assess their situation and their needs. And that might include, flying them out to get treatment or the emotional health support aspect that is so important. And as well, budgeting. How do families deal with all of these expenses when they come up?
As the social workers have said to us at the Children's Oncology Centers, families don't budget for cancer. Can I share a story?
Absolutely.
So in 2016, right when we began our expansion out of Spartanburg County and into other parts of the state, I was approached by one of the cancer centers and said, we have 5 kids that have a cancer that needs to be treated in New York. And we need to ask you if you would commit to getting these kids and their caretaker to New York. And they asked if we would do it for multiple trips. And I said, okay, what are some of the other options? Are there other treatments available? And they said, no, these children will die. That's a pretty heavy thing to hear. And so I said, of course we would. And of course we would do multiple trips, whatever these children needed. Well, they went to New York, to Sloan Kettering. They probably made 20 plus trips a year, during their treatment. And 4 out of the 5 children survived. 4 out of those 5 children are living their normal lives. They're able to play baseball. They can grow up and be a fireman. They can grow up and be a nurse. These are their dreams of what they want to do. And because of the generosity and the philanthropy of people, individuals who gave to our organization, we were able to help be part of the journey to save these children's lives. And that's what's inspiring. That's what keeps us going. It's not about sadness. It's about joy. It's about hope. It's about giving these children a fighting chance. And so many of them survive, Santi.
Oh, that's the best. And because having hope helps you fight. If you think this is hopeless from the get-go, then why fight it? Right? So to have people like you who are there throughout the whole journey. And what I love about you guys, so I went and visited them a couple of weeks ago.
You did.
And I thank you all for supporting them by sharing that post that we did. It reached over 6,000 people from here in the area. And I got to meet one of the family advocates, I think is her title. And her name is Shannon.
She's the director.
She's the director.
Of our family programs.
Fantastic. So the director of the family program. And I'm talking to her and say, well, why are you doing this? The question I ask a lot of people doing nonprofits, you could be doing this somewhere else. Turns out she too had to go through the journey at a very personal level.
Yes.
And then she turned all of that uncertainty and pain and sadness that she had to go through into a vehicle of providing hope.
Can I tell you a little bit about how...
You can. The floor is all yours, or the table.
Shannon is a gift. We hit a point in 2018, and I just felt as though I have a fundraising background. I have a business background, sales and marketing, finance. I'm not a person who has a public health degree or a social work degree. I kind of wish these days I did, but I don't. And I knew that we needed somebody who had those experiences to help us grow this organization. So I called my favorite social worker up in North Carolina at Duke, and I said, Sarah, could you please help me find a pediatric oncology social worker that could come work for our organization? And she said to me, I'm going to give you the gift of your life. And I said, okay, what does that look like? She said, well, we had a social worker here who was in hematology. She came from Dell Children's Hospital. And she moved somewhere in your upstate. And oh, by the way, she's a childhood cancer survivor. And I'm like, wow, that's a trifecta.
Yeah, that's it. What more can you ask for?
And so I called this woman and I said, hey, would you ever consider having a coffee with me? Take a little, conversation? And we did. And I asked her if she would take a walk on the wild side. And I call it the wild side because when you run a nonprofit, you don't know where your funding's coming from. You don't have medical reimbursements from insurance companies. You don't have, sales of products that are bringing your business together. You are really reliant on the generosity of individuals and businesses and foundations. We don't get government funding. We are 100% funded by the generosity of individuals, businesses, and corporations. So I said to Shannon, will you take this walk? And in 2018, she agreed.
Said yes.
And so she has been leading the programs for us, and I couldn't be more happy having her on our
And again,
team.
mention the dates. I mean, her alone has been at it for 5 years now. So you guys have the experience.
Yes.
So people can turn to you and expect to receive good professional support that's done with love. It's not this cold, artificial, fill this out and then we'll get back to you. It truly is relationships and friendships that are formed in the midst of the struggle.
Absolutely. Sandy, when we meet a family and we meet a child with cancer, we've met one. And every single case is unique. And the pediatric oncology social workers in North and South Carolina rely on us. Most of these hospitals have us as part of the onboarding process. And when that child is diagnosed and referred to us, within 24 hours, my family advocates, and there's more than just Shannon. Shannon runs a team of 4. They're on the phone, setting up the time to meet with this family. They're meeting with families in person. Some of the cases. I mean, it's all about each family's unique case situation and understanding their unique individual needs.
So let's say that somebody right now who is watching, has either suddenly woken up to the reality that their children have cancer, or they know, like you mentioned, we all know people who have been affected. Do you have a website that people can go to?
Yes, childrenscancerpartners.org. There's an info. You can go to. There's a page on there. They can go to info, send an email about a family. They can call our office at 864-582-0673 and ask for Shannon or me. We'll kind of go backdoor and find out where's that child being treated, who's that child's social worker, and then we'll get the referral that way.
Perfect.
And oftentimes, we've had those calls. Sometimes schools hear about a child with cancer, and now that we're doing this really wonderful inclusion program called Kids in Lids, more and more schools are getting to know about.
Say more about that. What's it called again?
Okay, it's called Kids in Lids.
Yes.
And it was started by a Spartanburg girl who was in 5th grade who came to me and said that her friend had died of cancer and she wanted to do something to help. And I said, I gave her a couple of ideas, and I said, I think you should go talk to your principal. And so she did, and the two of them came up with this idea of kids wearing a hat, coming to school, and bringing $1 because they can't wear a hat normally. And this rural school in Spartanburg County raised $800 or $900 their first year.
Sweet.
And here we are, again, 5 years, 6 years later, and we have more than 150 schools that participate.
No way.
And we really want all schools, because you know what? There are children in all of these communities that have cancer. And the funds that we raise are reinvested back into those communities. So we're not taking Spartanburg money and putting it in Charleston.
Right.
We track every child down to the zip code, so everything stays
local.
Yeah.
Local.
Wherever that local is.
Absolutely. Okay, great. That's good to know. So if they're from somewhere else, the money would go back to that community. So reach out to them. If you have a child in need, or if you're an institution that wants to be able to provide for children, but you don't know how, reach out to them. They've got the experience and they've got the heart for it. These are very, very talented individuals who could, a lot of them, be working out in a more capitalistic situation, making a whole lot more money than working for a nonprofit. But when I was getting a tour of the place and they were getting teary-eyed, just sharing the stories of the children, I could tell they do this because it's their passion, it's their calling, it's their vocation, and that shows. So again, if you have somebody in need, you can reach out to them on their website. And there's a cool program that they have, which is you have these blankets, correct?
Yes.
They're handmade, correct?
Yes.
And then you send them out to the children and the family. What's all that about?
Well, that actually goes back to our origin of being when we were founded, and we were called the Children's Security Blanket.
When were you founded, by the way?
1999. It was a project, and we were incorporated in 2005.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they gave blankets as a symbol of wrapping a family in hope and love. And we continue that tradition today. And most recently, it happened because of a little girl named Lily, whose whose picture I put out on Facebook a few years ago and asked for blankets, and it went viral. We had over 1 million hits. We had over 1,400 comments.
Wow.
And then this was during COVID, and our office was filling up with boxes and boxes and boxes from all over the country. We had several from other countries, and these were blankets for our children. And so today, many of those knitting clubs and crochet groups still make them. We just sort of put a post out every once in a while, hey, we're running low on blankets, and these incredible blankets come. There's a group in Sumter, South Carolina, that knits and crochets once a month through the Palmetto Optimist Club, and they send blankets to us once a month. I mean, a huge bag full. And then we have volunteers. Actually, you've asked me a little bit in the past about Rachel, and Rachel's mom and Rachel's aunt come over, and they wrap these blankets in a box with tissue paper and a note card, and they get sent off to our children. It's just a tiny little symbolism of us wrapping
being
them.
there, physically present.
Yes.
And if you go to their place here in Spartanburg, their headquarters, you will see the portraits of these children.
Yes.
And again, it's always a story of hope. But say a little bit more about situations where sometimes the children don't make it.
Well, I will just talk about Rachel, because Rachel was a child and her family was a family that I worked with when she was here in Spartanburg, and she was in 7th grade, and she was diagnosed with osteosarcoma. And we were asked to help the family get to Sloan Kettering for her treatment, but also prior to that, we sent her to MD Anderson for a second opinion. Anyway, it was because her dad approached me at our holiday gathering and said, can you help our family get to New York for the week of Christmas? We want to be with Rachel.
Wow.
Her sisters haven't seen her for a few months. I'm back and forth, and my wife is up there, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we have like $13,000 in our checking account. We've done this. We have all these other families, and I look and I just say, of course we will. And I knew that it would.
That's the wild journey right there.
Yes, I knew we'd be provided for. So I put out a social media post way back then in 2015, and it didn't go viral, but it hit the right people, because suddenly a connection was being made, and a distant donor, a distant stranger, gave us an apartment in New York City for the family for the week of Christmas. And Rachel came out of the hospital for 7 hours and got to be with her family. And they sent me pictures from that night, and I just treasure those photos. And I'm sorry to say that we lost Rachel a few months later, but Rachel changed the trajectory of children with cancer in the Carolinas, because a distant donor gave us a magnificent philanthropic gift, a transformational gift, which has helped us expand. And we still work with that donor today, but that donor has challenged us, and he has said the people of the Carolinas need to help the children of the Carolinas.
We need to rise up ourselves.
Yes,
absolutely.
and so that's the quest. That is why I'm on the road as much as I am, traveling all over, meeting with people, sharing our story, telling them about the children in their community, wherever that may be in North and South Carolina. But our roots are still here, right here in Spartanburg.
Well, and even as you were sharing about Rachel the first time, I could tell that her life was a gift and continues to be a gift. I mean, her spirit is still within the organization.
It is.
Giving you that extra push to go out there and make a huge difference. And we can't control the outcome when it comes to, things of this nature, but we can help the process and give people, a fighting chance and be there. So one of the things you do is you send out these blankets, right? But also at the end of the year, you send out little gifts as well, correct?
We send out ornaments. They're bereavement ornaments for the families who have lost a child. And we have been doing that for about 4 years. And every year we send them. I looked at the list the other day. Our history now has 362 bereaved children. And those children and those families, they get a card from us on the anniversary of that child's passing. They get a card on the birth of that child, what would be that child's birthday. And then at the holidays, they get this bereavement ornament, which is a memorial tribute to them. And the thank you notes and the phone calls that we get are just incredible. The families who want to get involved. I had a dad write us the other day, he wants to volunteer.
That's great.
He gave us 7 different things that he could do, because I was like, well, we don't have an office in your community. And he said, well, here's what the things I can do to help. And his child is still in treatment, but he wants to help us because we've helped him.
So obviously people can donate their treasure.
Yes.
But they can donate their time and their talent as well.
Yes.
Whatever skill you have, offer it. And even if it's crocheting, that's a beautiful gift too. I used to do that when I was little. With my grandma, I would, be too meddlesome. She would put me in a corner and I would crochet.
Okay.
It was only scarves because I didn't know what to do. I just do straight down. But whatever, just be involved with them to help make a difference. So you guys are here to make a difference, and we're here to make a difference as well, because we need to rise to the occasion. But there's also events that you guys host along the way that can be fun for us to go out to in a way to support you. This is actually how I found out about you all. That I was invited to be a judge.
You were.
A very specific kind of judge for a burger cook-off that was sponsored by Cribs on your behalf. And that was the hardest, most tastiest challenge I've ever taken on for a community.
Tell me about it. Tell me about the judging experience.
So I had never done this before. And the burgers are little tiny burgers. They're like sample
sliders.
size. Absolutely,
Yeah.
they're sliders. And how many competitors were that day?
I think we had 10.
10, yes, that sounds about right. And I could not wait. It was 3 of us. We were in a room, the 3 judges, and they bring out the first slider. And I take a look at it. I had never done this before. And I was surrounded by 2 people that had actually done it professionally. And I look at the slider, and it comes time to judge. So I just go, "Rawr!" I just stick the whole thing in my mouth. And the one next to me said, "Oh, honey, no, you can't do that." I'm like, "Say more about that." And it turns out that if you eat the whole thing, your stomach will explode by the 3rd one. So I'm glad somebody intervened. But it was such a fun event here in Spartanburg. Lots of people came out, got really great burgers. There was a fun competition, and all that went to help you all.
It went to help our children.
Went to help the children.
It's always about the children. And we have a kids zone there, and we have great music that's there, great sampling of burgers. We have wonderful sponsors that make it possible. And Cribs Kitchen has been the best partner all along this.
So thank you, Cribs Kitchen.
I want to say a shout out to Raj Patel and William Cribb.
Absolutely.
They are
Great
amazing. So grateful to have them.
Local supporters, absolutely.
As partners, yeah.
So again, if you want to support them, come out and have burgers. But there's another way, correct?
May 4th, 2024.
That's the next one. So
Yes,
it's coming up. So
it's
put
coming
it on
up.
your calendar already. If you want to help out, show up, eat burgers. You're helping children by eating burgers. I mean, what an amazing concept.
There you go.
But there's another concept that I think is really cool. Docs Who Rock.
Right.
What is that about?
That is this coming Saturday night,
Ooh.
October 21st. We have a couple of seats left.
Okay.
It's still on the website, so just really we can squeeze you in. But Docs Who Rock is going to be 8 different doctors' bands from Spartanburg County.
Nice.
And what's so beautiful about this is these bands are performing. They're helping us raise money for our children. And yet they're not treating children here in this county. So they're really doing an incredible give back, total give back. And
Going out of their way.
Spartanburg Regional Health Systems is our presenting sponsor. And truly, again, they are giving to an organization that in a way that because they don't treat children with cancer, they're doing an incredible give back by
all that they can
with this sponsorship. And the doctors are incredible. So it'll be fun. It's going to be 5 different courses of food being served, beer and wine and water and soft drinks. There's a great silent auction. There's going to be 3 incredible live auction items. Just 3. We're keeping it really small and quick so we don't miss too much music. But and if you want to know more, the auction actually is online at childrenscancerpartners.org.
Okay.
But that's this Saturday. I know you're going to come.
Yes.
I'm so glad I've got a special seat
excited.
for you. Yeah.
I'm excited. And that's the thing, again, you can be of support along the way. Just keep these things on your calendar, on your horizon. Come out, enjoy some good music. Come out, enjoy some good burgers. Help children by doing so. But more so than that, if you want to do it throughout the year, you can be a volunteer. You can help donate handmade
scarves and hats and blankets.
And then also, of course, your treasure. And I do believe somebody is watching today that can rise to the challenge in either of those 3 ways. Even if it's by sharing this post, letting people know about it, just spread the word about this amazing organization that we have right here.
Awareness. I don't have the big giant budgets like other places that are national that appeal to childhood cancer, but we help some of those children. And we have another opportunity right here in Spartanburg in December. We have our holiday gathering for our children. And the families come, and this is where children are coming from all over the region, not just Spartanburg. We could use volunteers. We do crafts and face painting, and there's music, and they get to have a lunch, and there's all kinds of fun like video games and life-size Jenga.
Ooh, I like those. I like bringing them down. But carry on.
Okay, I know where you'll be.
Thank you.
It's really wonderful, and it's really rewarding. Some of the greatest people we have supporting our organization came to that and saw and really were moved by these families, and they just come. It's really special.
And again, if you're going through the journey yourself as a family, you don't have to do it alone.
Right.
Please give them a call today so that you can be connected also to other families who are going through the same journey.
The psychosocial interaction between families is and between parents and caregivers is so important. We are partnered with 𝐸merge Family Center here in Spartanburg doing a mental health program for families going through. There's post-traumatic stress that people go through. There's depression that comes from, there's divorces that come from childhood cancer. And so 𝐸merge Family Therapy is a partner of ours, and we are so delighted to be able to work with them. And again, thank you to the support of the Spartanburg County Foundation for helping make that possible.
And thank you guys for being here, for helping our children out. I mean, they're our future. And again, thank you all as well for sticking with us. I don't know how long this was. It felt like 5 minutes. I don't know.
It was great.
I had a good time. Thank you so much for coming out, Laura, and sharing about yourself and what you guys do and how we can support you in the process. So stay tuned because we'll have more podcasts along the way to help you become more aware of all that Spartanburg has to offer. I'm also a realtor, so along the way, I'll do some educational videos with lenders and inspectors to help you through the journey of buying a house. Right. Not the same level of emotional, angst, of course, but we need to support each other in whatever way we can, from the smallest of ways to the biggest of ways. We got so many resources as a community. Absolutely.
So strong. One Spartanburg, love where you live.
Love where you live. Even this podcast, shout out to 𝐸𝐿𝐐𝐿𝐿, who is editing this video right now, and I'm looking at you. Thank you, Zach, for all that you do. And if you guys are interested in doing podcasts, this is here downtown. This is here at the Spill the Beans building, Og Smith. So let's use local, let's support local in every aspect of our lives so that we can grow to be a thriving community together, because we have taken off and there's no stopping us anymore.
So true.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Children's Cancer Partners of the Carolinas.
Thank you.
I look forward to the Docs Who Rock this Saturday. I look forward to the burger cook-off again in May. I'll be there just eating burgers that time around. Do join us, do support, and do love where you live, because we have something amazing going on. Until next time.
Thanks, Santi.
Thank you.